Football is a violent sport, which is what makes evaluating players still in high school so difficult. With how prevalent injuries are at all levels, it's tough to predict who will actually make it to the NFL. That's what makes things like the USA Today, All-USA high school football team, so intriguing. These young men were among the best of the best, but many of them never found NFL greatness. Today, we're taking a look back at the 1995 USA Today All-USA team and seeing what happened to all 25 players, starting with the offense. Tim Couch, quarterback. Couch was one of the best high school quarterbacks scouts had seen to that point. He set several national high school records, including most pass completions, passing yards, and touchdown passes. He also averaged 36 points a night for the basketball team during his junior season. Just ridiculous numbers. ESPN would later name him the 6th best high school athlete of all time, up there with stars like Tiger Woods, LeBron James, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He decided to keep it local and play for the Kentucky Wildcats. In '96, he backed up Billy Jack Haskins before being unleashed on the NCAA in '97. He threw for 3,884 yards and 37 touchdowns to finish on the second-team All-SEC roster. He did throw 19 interceptions, but when you throw the ball 550 times, you're bound to have some picks. In '98, he completed 72% of his passes for 4,275 yards and 36 touchdowns. He also brought his INTs down to 15. Couch finished the season as a consensus first-team All-American and won SEC Player of the Year and the National Quarterback Player of the Year. He finished 4th in Heisman voting behind Cade McNown, Michael Bishop, and the winner, Ricky Williams. He decided to skip his senior season and enter the '99 draft. The Browns made him the first overall pick. Tuck that nugget away for later. He started nearly every game of his rookie season, throwing for 2,447 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 13 INTs. He also led the league in sacks taken, as the Browns struggled to a 2-14 record. Couch spent 5 years in Cleveland, posting one winning season in 2002, largely behind a solid defense. Couch has often been labeled as one of the biggest busts in draft history, and while that's probably true, it's worth noting that he was injured several times during his days in Cleveland, although sacks certainly didn't make things easy, and his best receivers were probably Kevin Johnson and Quincy Morgan. I'm not saying Couch wasn't bad, but the team around him wasn't any good either. He did try to make several comebacks after leaving the team in 2004, but he kept getting injured and never made another roster. After hanging him up for good, Couch spent some time as a broadcaster. As of 2024, he owns a wealth management company with his brother back in Kentucky. His son Chase was playing defensive line for Holy Cross as of 2024. Sedrick Irvin, running back. Irvin left Miami to play college ball at Michigan State. When he got onto the field in '96, Irvin was a stud and quickly became known for his shiftiness. He ran for over 1,000 yards and 19 total touchdowns, even getting one through the air on a trick play. Irvin spent 2 more years with the Spartans, never running for fewer than 1,000 yards and adding punt return duties in '97. The Lions picked him up in the 4th round of the '99 draft. Irvin had fallen a bit in the draft due to concerns over his speed, but he still led the team in rushing touchdowns as a rookie. Granted, that team was pretty bad, but still. Unfortunately, his career was essentially over in year 2 after a series of injuries. He was still on the team through 2001, but only played in 6 more games. He tried to make a comeback with the Dolphins in 2003, but never saw the field. The 2-time All-Big Ten back did play in NFL Europe and the Arena League before hanging him up in 2005. He quickly got into coaching, working at the high school level in Florida from 2006 to '08. He then joined Nick Saban's staff at Alabama, helping Mark Ingram win a Heisman. In 2010, he joined the Memphis staff, and he's continued to coach throughout the last decade, moving back to the high school level in 2016. As of 2024, he's still working with youth as a coach. Football runs in the family. Not only is his cousin Hall of Famer Michael Irvin, but his son Cedric Jr. plays running back for Stanford as of 2024. Patrick Pass, running back. Pass stayed in-state to attend Georgia. He was also selected by the Marlins in the '96 MLB draft and played in the team's farm system during the summers from 96 to 98. While never the lead back many were hoping he'd become in high school, Pace did carve out a solid 4-year career as a backup, rushing for 1,022 yards and adding 435 yards as a receiver. He was also a solid returner, especially during his senior year, racking up over 1,000 return yards from kickoffs and punts. The Patriots eventually selected him in the 7th round of the 2000 draft. Pass spent 7 years in New England, racking up 1,000 scrimmage yards and 4 total touchdowns. Again, he was never a star, but was willing to do what it took to help the team succeed. In 2002, he put on 35 pounds and became a fullback. In 2005, Corey Dillon got hurt, and Pass switched to running back at times, rushing for a career-high 245 yards that season. The commitment to winning over everything helped the Pats win 3 titles during his time there. However, in 2005, he also picked up an injury that would nag him through the 2006 season as well. He signed with the Texans in 2007, but was waived before the season started. Pass played in 1 game with the Giants that season before spending the 2008 season out of the league. Pass re-signed with the Pats for a week in 2009 and then retired. He then switched to coaching, including his most recent stint in the Indoor Football League, which started in 2020. However, he was suspended for the league indefinitely in 2023 after going into the stands and allegedly assaulting some fans. Unfortunately, his issues didn't end there, as Pass was arrested in 2024 in an incident at a Planet Fitness. Ron Dayne, running back. Dayne's parents divorced when he was young, and he was sent to New Jersey to live with his relatives. He quickly became a star athlete at Overbrook. He won state titles in shot put and discus. He still had the 5th best high school discus throw in U.S. history as of 2007. However, it was football where the youngster who would eventually grow to 270 pounds thrived. Many assumed he'd have to make the switch to fullback at the next level, but Wisconsin coach Barry Alvarez told him he could stay at tailback, and Dayne was sold. It turned out to be a great decision for Dayne and the school. The Dayne train was an instant star, rushing 325 times for 2,109 yards and 21 touchdowns during his first season. While his numbers went down slightly in 97 and 98, he never ran for fewer than 1,200 yards and 11 TDs. Dayne's senior season was his best from a hardware standpoint, running for 2,034 yards and 20 TDs. For that effort, he won the Maxwell Award, Walter Camp Award, Chick Harley Award, Doak Walker Award, Jim Brown Award, and the Heisman Trophy, solidifying his spot as one of the best running backs in college football history. Unsurprisingly, the Giants picked him 11th overall in the 2000 draft. He teamed up with Tiki Barber to form the Thunder and Lightning duo, taking advantage of Dayne's raw power and Barber's speed. His first 3 years were solid, but he and head coach Jim Fassell butted heads over Dayne's weight and his carries dwindled. In 2003, he missed every game with an injury, but came back having lost 40 pounds to try and impress new coach Tom Coughlin. It didn't work as Coughlin decided to ride Barber, who, to his credit, did rush for 1,500 yards. The team didn't re-sign him, and Dayne instead joined the Broncos for a season. Again, he got limited touches, but was re-signed and named the starter in 2006 before falling down the depth chart and being released during the preseason. Dayne signed with the Texans, spending 2 seasons as the team's lead back, racking up 1,385 yards and 11 touchdowns. He then retired after the 2007 season. As of 2024, Dayne does some media work and public speaking, but largely seems to be out of the public eye outside of attending Wisconsin home games. Several of his kids also played at the collegiate level. Javion played running back at Boston College, and Zion played defensive line at Yale. Meanwhile, Jada played soccer at Michigan. Chad Ward, offensive line. Ward was 5'9" and 165 pounds when he was 9 years old. The big guy kept growing until he tipped the scales at 6'5" and 320 pounds, heading into college at Washington. The guard spent 4 seasons with the school, becoming a first-team All-American and Morris Trophy winner during his senior year in 2000. The Jaguars picked him in the 6th round of the 2001 draft, and he spent the next several years on practice and training camp rosters with the Jags, 49ers, Browns, and Chargers before spending a season in NFL Europe. In 2008, Ward became a real estate agent, a career he's still in as of 2018. Zac Zedalis, offensive line. Zedalis played his college ball at Florida. After a redshirt season, the big lineman played in 9 games for the Gators in '97. He started all but 1 game in '98, mostly at center. The next season started well, but he picked up a knee injury and missed the rest of the season along with the entire 2000 season. He came back in 2001 and was named to the All-SEC team in his 6th year. It doesn't look like he played pro ball, but he did get into acting starting in 2019 when he appeared in Godzilla, King of the Monsters. He's also been on shows like Stranger Things and The Walking Dead, and most recently, he did stunt work for Red 1. Travis Claridge, offensive line. Claridge was born in Detroit, but moved to California with his dad in 4th grade as the elder Claridge continued his coaching career. The youngster would eventually end up at USC for college, starting 48 games for the Trojans over his career. He was named a 3rd-team All-American in '99, winning the Morris Trophy that season as well. The Falcons picked the 6'5" guard in the 2nd round of the 2000 draft. He started nearly every game he was healthy for during his 4 years in Atlanta. However, he picked up a knee injury in 2003, and the team decided not to extend his contract. He did join the Panthers in 2004, but was cut during training camp. He played 1 game in the Canadian League in 2005, before picking up another injury in his 2nd game and never playing again. Sadly, Claridge was found unconscious at his Las Vegas home in 2006, and he later passed away at just 27 years old. Al Jackson, offensive line. Jackson left Mississippi to play college ball at LSU. The big guard played a reserve role during his first season, before becoming a starter at left tackle in year 2. Jackson started in 5 games as a junior, but missed several games with a knee injury. He came back to start at every game at guard during his senior season, and the Cowboys picked him up as an undrafted free agent in 2000. He appeared in a few games before being sent to NFL Europe in 2002. Jackson earned all league honors that season, but was waived by Dallas. He then signed on to the Packers squad, joining the active roster for a few games after Chad Clifton went down with an injury. He was out of the game after the season and has largely been out of the public eye in the years since. That said, Jackson was inducted into his high school's Hall of Fame in 2024. Jeff Backus, offensive line. Backus moved to Georgia growing up and became a star offensive lineman at Norcross. He went back to Michigan to play college ball for the Wolverines. The 6'5" lineman made the 2nd-team All-Big Ten team in '97 and '98, helping the team win the '97 national championship. He upgraded his play to join the 1st-team All-Big Ten in '99 and 2000, and was named a 2nd-team All-American in 2000. The Lions selected him 18th overall in the 2001 draft. Backus made the All-Rookie team in his first year and spent his entire 12-year career in Detroit. He started 191 games before retiring after the 2012 season. Backus joined the Lions coaching staff after retiring, but decided to leave that world behind in 2013. Since then, he's been working in real estate. Rufus French, tight end. French was another multi-sport athlete in high school, and the Padres picked him in the '96 MLB draft. He decided to head to Ole Miss for college ball. In '97, French made the 3rd-team All-American roster after putting up 345 yards and 2 touchdowns. He posted similar numbers in '98 when he was a unanimous All-American. French decided to skip his senior season and head to the '99 draft, but he went unselected. French signed with the Seahawks as a free agent. However, he was injured in 2000 and missed the entire season. He was released in 2001 and signed with the Packers the next year. Unfortunately, he was again waived and never played in the NFL. In 2024, French was indicted by a federal grand jury that claimed he was part of a $70 million fraud scheme. Titcus Pettigrew, wide receiver. Pettigrew went to Penn State and started his career as a wideout. In '97, he caught 7 passes for 85 yards. The next year, he was converted to defensive back. Pettigrew missed the entire '99 season, but came back to snag 2 picks during the 2000 season. During his time in college, Pettigrew also played a little bit for the Nittany Lions basketball team. After graduating, he did a short stint with the Chargers training camp roster before leaving his playing days behind. He's since been working as a coach at the high school level. His kids are all relatively high-level athletes. Trey is playing college basketball at Eastern Michigan in 2025, with previous stops at Nevada and Bradley. JT is set to join Valparaiso for basketball next season. Brady is in the class of 2028, so he's still got some time, but already has a D1 offer of 3. Joy is only a 7th grader, but she dropped 26 points and 10 boards during her first organized basketball game. There's another Pettigrew kid, but he's only like 6 years old, so we'll just have to wait and see. Kevin Harvey, athlete. Harvey took his talent to Temple. In 97 and 98, he played quarterback, throwing for 571 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions in backup duty. He also added 271 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground. In 99, he switched to running back, but only ran for 11 yards, adding 32 as a receiver. Harvey spent some time in the Arena Football 2 League after graduating, but never made it to the NFL. As of 2017, he was working as an offensive coordinator at his high school alma mater and also working for the city. Courtney Leavitt, kicker. Leavitt went to South Carolina for college. He was the team's main punter throughout his 4 years with the school, averaging 40 yards per punt. He also handled extra point duties as a freshman and junior, making around 93% of his attempts. Leavitt did do some field goal kicking, but only made about 35% of his 22 attempts. Instead, the team largely relied on Steve Florio to kick when he was healthy. Leavitt didn't play professionally, instead jumping into a role as a financial advisor for a few years. He then got into sales, where he's still working as of 2025. And now for the defense. Andy Katzenmoyer, linebacker. Katz played his high school ball in Westerville and stayed in Ohio to attend Ohio State. With the Buckeyes, Katz became the first ever true freshman to start at linebacker for the school. He rewarded the team with 12 sacks, including 3 in the 97 Rose Bowl. The next year, he was named a consensus All-American and won the Dick Butkus Award and Jack Lambert Trophy. He was still solid in 98 with 14 tackles for loss and 4 sacks, but it was not nearly as impressive as his previous season. The Pats picked him 28th overall in the 99 draft. As a rookie, he had 3.5 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, and 1 interception of Dan Marino that he returned 57 yards for a touchdown. Katz made the all-rookie team, and it looked like big things were in his future. Unfortunately, he also suffered a neck injury that would eventually need surgery. He missed half of the 2000 season due to the injury and decided to leave the team and retire. Since then, he's been working in real estate. Jason Ching, defensive line. Ching left Hawaii to attend Notre Dame. Unfortunately, injuries kept him from playing much during his time with the Fighting Irish. He instead focused on his studies, eventually earning his master's degree from Notre Dame. As of 2019, he was working as a tax director in Houston. Eric Jefferson, defensive line. Jefferson was so good in high school that his defensive coordinator at Illinois said he watched 5 plays of tape before shutting it off and telling everyone he was the best defensive player he'd ever seen. And this guy had worked with stars like Lawrence Taylor. However, he was injured during his freshman training camp at Illinois and stopped coming to practice. Soon after, his legal troubles would start to pop up and the team would release him. Since then, he's continued to have trouble with the law, and the last update I could find from 2012 said he'd been arrested in California. Derrion Yates, defensive line. Yates started his college career at UTEP. He played a bit, but was never the breakout player the Miners were hoping for when they signed him over programs like LSU. Yates then transferred to Tarleton State, essentially disappearing from the public eye after his time there. Brad Williams, defensive line. Williams started a handful of games at offensive line as a freshman at Notre Dame. The next year, he switched back to defense, starting 33 games over the next 3 seasons. He went undrafted, but did spend some time on a few training camp rosters before leaving the game behind and starting a normal life. Jesse Warren. Warren played high school ball at Carter before joining Colorado. Haven't been able to find many stats for the lineman, but he did letter all 4 years of his college career. Warren spent 3 seasons playing in NFL Europe, racking up 8.5 total sacks. He was part of the Berlin Thunder when the team won the 2001 World Bowl. He then spent a year in the Canadian League with Winnipeg before hanging him up. Since then, he's moved back to Dallas and is taking care of his family. His daughter Chelsea played college basketball at Cincinnati. Courtney Brown, linebacker. Brown was a 2-sport star in high school while also maintaining a 4.0 GPA and never missing a day of school from kindergarten through his senior year. The model student and 6'5" linebacker left South Carolina to play for Joe Paterno's Penn State Nittany Lions. Alongside former All-USA player Brandon Short and future Bednarik winner LeVar Arrington, Brown helped make Penn State's defense into one of the most feared squads of his era. He was a 3-time All-Big Ten selection making the first team in 98 and 99. During that latter season, he was also named a unanimous All-American, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year. He broke the then NCAA record for career sacks with 33 and added 70 tackles for loss. During the Combine, Brown continued to impress, with a 4.5 40, 37-inch vertical, and 26 reps on the bench, all at 6'5" and 270 pounds. Combined with his production, Brown was one of the most coveted prizes of the 2000 draft. The Browns, who if you remember had just picked Tim Couch the year before, selected Brown first overall, and Arrington went second to Washington. During his rookie season, Brown looked like he had a chance to live up to the hype, racking up 4.5 sacks and 16 tackles for loss to make the All-Rookie squad. However, he endured several injuries over the next few years, and he became seen as a bust after playing in just 26 games from 2002 to 2004 and only picking up 9 sacks during that stretch. He played his final NFL season in 2005 with the Broncos, beating fellow 2000 draftee Tom Brady in the playoffs before losing to the Steelers in the AFC Championship game. He's since kept a relatively low profile, though he has gone back to Penn State for several games, including the 2019 homecoming. Buck Gurley, linebacker. Gurley kept it local and played college ball at Florida. During his career, Gurley bulked up and played defensive tackle for the Gators. The redshirt senior helped Florida win the 2000 SEC Championship game over Auburn, though they'd lose to Miami in the Sugar Bowl. The Big DT went undrafted in 2001, but signed with the Dolphins. Unfortunately, he didn't make it through the preseason in Miami. Still, he'd done enough to sign with the Bears practice squad. Gurley signed with the Bucs in 2000 and played in 8 games during Tampa Bay's championship run. As of 2024, he owns a management company with his wife and appears to be very active in the Florida youth football circles. Mike Burton, defensive back. Burton started his collegiate career at Ohio State. He played in all 12 games during his freshman season, mostly on special teams. However, it looks like he ran into several off-field issues and was released from the team after a season. I haven't been able to find evidence that he went to another school, but it looks like he's living in Georgia and living a normal life as of 2021. Dwayne Goodrich, defensive back. Goodrich left Illinois to play college ball at Tennessee under Phil Fulmer. He was a backup cornerback as a true freshman, picking off 2 passes. He became an everyday starter for the next 3 seasons, racking up 10 interceptions. He also had a massive pick 6 in the 1999 national title game, helping the Vols win 23-16 over Florida State. Unfortunately, his senior season was slightly marred by a back injury before the season. He was also suspended for 1 game for violating team rules, though he still made the All-SEC team for the second time. Goodrich ran track during his first 2 seasons in Tennessee, running a 10.5 in the 100 meters. The Cowboys selected him in the second round of the 2000 draft. Unfortunately, he suffered an injury during training camp and only appeared in 5 games during his rookie season. The next year, he tore his Achilles in camp and missed the season. He did play in 11 games in 2002, starting 1 game. However, in 2003, he was involved in a hit-and-run accident that killed 2 people. He was eventually sentenced to 7.5 years in prison on 2 counts of criminally negligent homicide. However, 5 years were later added during prosecution. He was released in 2011 after serving 8 years. He now works as a motivational speaker. Goodrich also went back and earned his degree from Tennessee. Tommy Hendricks, defensive back. Hendricks played his college ball at Michigan, where his father had previously played running back in the 50s. The 6'2" DB started every game at free safety for the undefeated 97 Wolverines team that won a national championship. He continued to start in 98 and 99, making the All-Big Ten team in both seasons. However, he went undrafted in 2000. He did sign with the Dolphins for camp and converted to linebacker. Hendricks was cut before the season, but he was re-signed after Zach Thomas picked up an injury. While he shuffled around the roster quite a bit that season, Henderson did play in 8 games, mostly on special teams. In 2001, Hendricks became a middle linebacker and appeared in 16 games, getting his first start when Thomas got injured again. He played in Miami through 2003, racking up 85 tackles and 3 tackles for loss in 56 games. He then spent 1 season in Jacksonville before leaving the NFL. As of 2024, Hendricks has moved back to Houston and works in music production. David Leaverton, punter. Leaverton punted for Tennessee. He became the starter in 1998, helping the Vols to a national title win. Leaverton made a key tackle to stop a Peter Warrick touchdown return during the title game, one of the major highlights of his UT career. Over his 4 years, Leaverton averaged nearly 41 yards per punt. The Jags picked him in the 5th round of the 2001 draft. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he ever got playing time, despite having stints with the Jags, Jets, Pats, Commies, Rams, and Bucks. He then got into politics, but ultimately decided to leave it behind and work a normal job after 6 years in DC. He's currently back in Tennessee, working in healthcare communication. And that's the 95 team. I'll be back in a couple weeks with the 96 squad, but if you have any ideas for other videos you'd like to see, please share them below in the comments.